to our video series introducing you to Marshall Goldsmith Coaching. Now, I'm honored that Marshall involved me at the very beginning to help him organize the wisdom he acquired in coaching highly effective leaders to become even better leaders. And if you want to define our coaching in its simplest forms, it is really two things. It's the active involvement of a leader's stakeholders and the measurement of a leader's improvement in the eyes of those same stakeholders. And I tell you, I am proud that our coaching practice can be described as a systems approach and a form of team coaching. Now, if you want a useful comparison to why I call it a systems approach, you can think about our own nervous system. Our nervous system is made up of what? Two things: nerves and synapses, which serve as the connection point that allows for communication between the nerves. And the nervous system has three main functions. First, to collect sensory input from the body and the external environment, and then to process and interpret that input, and finally, to respond appropriately. Marshall Goldsmith Coaching has exactly the same functions. These functions are to collect input about the leader from the environment, help the leader process and interpret this input, and finally, to help the leader respond appropriately to the input. In our approach, stakeholders are like the nerves, and through their interaction with the leader, they act like the synapses, providing the needed communication points to support the leader. In our coaching practice, we turn the stakeholders into the day-to-day coaches, and they're the ones that are there and can support the leader in terms of giving them feedback and what we call feed forward about their performance. And that is why we call this stakeholder-centered coaching. And the methodology, if you really want to understand it, really boils down to 5 key discipline steps. The first step is a leader chooses a goal to improve, and then based upon the goal, identifies the appropriate stakeholders to get involved, and finally gets a sign-off from management that the goal is a good goal and the appropriate stakeholders are involved. This leads to step 2. The stakeholders are actively recruited and enrolled as coaches, and the leader announces the goal and asks each stakeholder to send 2 suggestions on how they can improve on the goal. This leads to step 3, where the coach helps the leader build an action plan based upon this stakeholder input, which is then sent back to the stakeholders so they have a copy of the plan. All the work is done where the leader then follows up with each stakeholder in a disciplined way on how they are doing on implementing the plan. And the final step is we measure the leader's improvement by the stakeholders completing a very short, anonymous online survey. In summary, Marshall Goldsmith Coaching is a positive and supportive process using a team of stakeholders. And these stakeholders offer significantly more value than you'll find in traditional one-on-one coaching. Now, in our next videos, we will explore the principles that serve as a foundation for Marshall Goldsmith Coaching and spend more time defining the role of the stakeholders. Thank you for watching.